Hey, Dr. G here. Just wanted to do a quick video. I'm in the sun getting my vaccine, doing my COVID-19 prevention, and I just want to bring this up again because mainstream medicine, do they tell you this stuff? No. Does the Center for Disease Control tell you this stuff? No. Does the National Institutes of Health tell you this stuff? Absolutely not. Yeah, they just don't. That's reality. So we gotta think for ourselves. We gotta do for ourselves what is right. So I just read an article today that was published in a peer-reviewed journal. I'll put a link on here. It's published on May 1st, and it's talking about how the sun, it's not so much the sun, but they talk about how we need light to help with this pandemic. And so what they did is they reviewed the evidence that light might have a huge impact on this. And one of the things they looked at was the Spanish flu back in 1918 that killed an estimated of 500 to 100 million people. I mean, incredible number of people died. And the article mentioned in Boston where the hospitals were dark and they had about a 40% fatality rate in the hospitals, and they'd heard reports around the country that sun helped people do better, or light helped people do better. So they opened up the windows and exposed the patients to the light, and the difference in the fatality rate was remarkable. 40% fatality rate in your dark hospital room dropped down to 13% when you were outside. So physicians all over noticed. Hospitals all over the country developed solariums or sunrooms to help patients get better faster. So here in 2020, a new pandemic, not nearly as bad as that one back then so far, let's cross our fingers, but no one's talking about that. Nobody's talking about, hey, there's something up there in the sky that flower I just showed you was named after. It's so famous. They named a flower after it. That's pretty incredible. So the sun, the Spanish flu idea is not the only thing. We knew from a report from Niels Finsen, he reported a treatment for patients that was very effective. They called it heliotherapy, helio meaning the sun therapy for tuberculosis. And he published that, and he won the Nobel Prize because the effectiveness of sun therapy for tuberculosis of the skin, which there was no treatment for it otherwise. Basically, you had it, you kept it, 83% were cured. 83% were cured. But what happened to all that information? And then even ancient times, the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Mesopotamians, all these civilizations did sunbathing and used sun therapy for diseases. So all that's thrown out the window when antibiotics came on board. Antibiotics, hey, it's a pill. I don't have to walk across the room, open the door, and go outside. What does our government tell us to do? What do our health officials? Shelter in place. Can you imagine? The absolute worst possible. Now, if they said shelter in place in the sun, okay, I could have bought into it. But no, they go shelter in place. So what frequency of light killed the tuberculosis bug? Well, that was actually blue light. So we have a spectrum of light in the sun. We have ultraviolet, which we can't see, and then we have violet, which we can see, and blue. So violet and blue kill tuberculosis. And then we have green, then we have yellow, then we have orange, then we have red. And then when light becomes invisible again to us, we have infrared. So ultraviolet can't see, infrared we can't see. But all of these frequencies do something to us. So blue and violet do something to us. The blue and violet and ultraviolet have the most power because they have the shortest wavelength. The shorter the wavelength, the more energy in the light. So the red and the infrared have less energy. So we know that coronaviruses are deactivated by sunlight. Now, is this particular one, the SARS-CoV-2 or the COVID-19 virus, that study, as far as I know, hasn't been done. But we could probably count on, yeah, it's like the other coronaviruses. It's probably going to be sensitive to the sun. So the powerful spectrums have their effect, but the red and infrared also have an effect. Red and infrared is shown in many studies to be effective for asthma and other lung diseases. So what's COVID-19? It's a lung disease. So you don't want to just get a light box that has the blue light and say, oh, that's going to be good. You want to get the full spectrum. You want to get the ultraviolet, which deactivates viruses. You want to get and helps your immune system. You want to get the violet and blue. You probably want to get the green and yellow and orange and red. And the infrared. Get all of the spectrums that is in the sun. So no one in conventional medicine, the NIH, the CDC, all the experts, all the medical societies, nobody's telling us this. So here's an article you can go read so you can see that the sun is likely very beneficial in the Spanish flu, dramatically changed the mortality rate. You know, what do we use to dramatically change our mortality rate? Remdesivir, which in their double-blind, placebo-controlled study didn't statistically significantly improve mortality rate. So, you know, we're bought out. Our system's bought out. Anything that's tried and true over centuries is bought out. Now, the other benefit, if you do get out in the sun, is that it'll protect you from all of the other diseases that are now epidemic, like Alzheimer's disease, a disease you don't want to get. That the cause, Alzheimer's as a cause of death, continues to slowly climb, and some are predicting that it might be the leading cause of death. Heart disease, one of the leading cause of death in the United States. Cancer keeps creeping closer to heart disease being the leading cause of death. There are many studies show anti-cancer effects, effects on reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease, effects on reducing the risk of coronary artery disease. There's also all the diseases that are related to the immune system, both the hyperactivity of the immune system or the underfunctioning of the immune system, and that's what we're talking about with this, the infectious diseases. So this is something you want to do. One of the caveats is you have to expose yourself. You have to get skin in the game, and you have to get your corneas in the game. Okay, so if you've been sheltering in place for 2 months and you haven't seen the sun in 2 months, the midday sun with the high ultraviolet light levels could harm you, because we slowly develop a solar callus every spring. If you live in a temperate climate, we slowly develop a solar callus in the spring. So by mid-May, you know, you got it going, you got your tan going, your skin gets thicker, and the mechanisms that repair the damage that's caused by that high-powered ultraviolet light, your mechanisms start to kick in, and so the light doesn't harm us. But if you've been sheltering in place and you go out in midday sun, you're going to harm yourself. You run the risk of a burn, skin cancer, all these different things. So our modern life is why we get skin cancer. You know, skin cancer is not an issue back in Egyptian days and you know, ancient times. It wasn't a factor because we naturally know how to prevent skin cancer. We get the sun callus, and we're smart. You know, people don't just park themselves on a lounge chair on the beach for 4 hours when they're on vacation and they haven't been getting in the sun before that because they're working 12 hours in the office every day. So don't shelter in place. The absolute wrong thing to do. If you've been doing that, just start gradually increasing your sun exposure. Again, you want sun going in your eye. The best time for that is the sunrise, and then we want to get little snippets of sunlight all through the morning. Then it's good to see the sunset as well. So have your solar panels exposed, that's the skin, and have your eyes exposed, no contact lenses, no sunglasses, no regular glasses, so that you let the rays in so they can do the work that they're designed to do. Humans evolved or created with that star coming up every single day as the earth spins. It's part of our life, it's part of our physiology, and the message and the information that's held in light we're learning is vast. It's so vast that we can't comprehend the numbers of how much information is in those electromagnetic waves that come from the sun in that light spectrum that we see. And get out there. It also feels good. Talk to you soon.